Hey guys, this is Yogen from Forsk Coding School, and good evening to all of you in the West Coast. Here in India, it's morning. Yeah, thank you, Preeti. Good morning. Welcome to day 3, and just hold on. So, on day 3, we are going to discuss a couple of things. So what are those things? Let me list them. So first of all, today we are going to talk about list data structure in more details. So we'll understand what the list is, and we'll understand how list can be used to manage the data, or how you can store a collection of the data in the list. It's an inbuilt data structure, and we have seen a couple of times in the previous discussions as well that how you can convert your string to a list using a split method. And yesterday as well, while understanding the looping concepts, right, I was taking an example that how you can print the individual items from the list using a for loop. That was there. So we'll understand more around the list today. And after that, we'll talk about one more inbuilt data structure, that is tuple, and a quick introduction to functions in Python. That how you can define your own function, and how to create them, and how you can call them, and how you can use them. So these are the 3 action items for today. Now, if we go to RAPL, so let's start with the RAPL now. So just a minute, I start my RAPL. Here we are, and this is our browser. Okay. So now we start with the coding part. So start with Python, then creating the RAPL. So here we are. Okay, we are into main.py. We can change a couple of settings here. Maybe increase the font size to large. I think that's the things are okay. So this is for day 3 now. If we talk about yesterday's session, and just take a quick recap of that. If you if you see, yesterday we had 2 topics. One was the control flow, so in which we were understanding how to use if, else, or elif, and other was like a looping. So sometimes there might be a little confusion, and generally that happens with the people who are very new to the coding. But if you already have some experience from any other programming language, you will understand that concept easily. Basically, looping is seen as two subcategories. What is that? So one looping is kind of a call is like indefinite iterations, where in the start you don't know how long your a loop will continue to run, right? That means you are not sure about it. As long as certain condition is true, you are going to repeat those statements. That loop is going to continue, right? So that's what we were getting in the while loop. So as long as this condition is true, right, these set of statements will continue to execute, and we don't know how many times this loop will run, because this is dependent on the condition. As long as condition is true, we are here. As soon as condition becomes false, we are out of it. So this is kind of an indefinite iteration. So if your problem statement is like that you have to deal with the indefinite iterations, you don't know how long a customer, how long a user will continue to feed the data, and based on that you continue to take the decisions. And that's what was that's what it was happening in the yesterday example, that we were printing medium, long, and short kind of response whenever a user was giving input data. So that was a while loop mechanism, right? But if we already know that this loop is going to run exactly that number of times, that means you already know that it is going to run for 10 times only or 20 times only. In that case, this is called as kind of a definite iterations. And for definite iterations, you call a for. And that's why you can see from yesterday's discussion that while we had the data in a list, right, we were always using a for loop, because a number of items in a list is something that we already know that this is the length of the list, this is going to run for 10 times or 20 times. So we are going to use a for loop that. So is that concept clear to everyone? Sorry. So is that concept clear to everyone, that I was talking about looping? And in looping, you have indefinite iterations and definite iterations. While you're talking about indefinite, you stick to while mechanism, and while you are in definite iteration kind of a mode, you go with for each loop. Is that clear? Can you please quickly respond to me? Okay, Meenu saying yes, Harsh saying okay, Dr. Muthu saying MK actually saying okay, Lalit and Kalyan. Thank you. Good. Now, let's go to the RAPL again. Yesterday, we were taking data from the user. So, that was kind of a statement that I'm taking some input from the user. So I'm just saying input. And inside this, I can, give a masses. So let's say enter the string, right? That was there. And let's say, just to quickly recap, what I want to do, I want to find out, I want to check whether a string is palindrome or not. So what is my problem? I want to check for a palindrome string. So check for a palindrome. So what is palindrome string? So it's a string which is same in the reverse as forward. So forward or reverse string, they are same, right? So kind like you have a string, let's say madam. So now, right, either you read it from a forward, or either you read it from reverse. This is going to be a palindrome. Or like a language like Malayalam, this is also a palindrome, right? So if you want to check programmatically that how to decide if my string is a palindrome or not, then it's quite easy in Python, right? Because we know strings now. Guys, do you know that how we can reverse a string, right? Do you remember that discussion that if you have a string and then you can make use of slicing, and make use of slicing was like that will print your entire string, right? And now if you want to bring the third parameter, that is for stepping, and if you do the stepping in the reverse direction with -1, right, that will print your string in reverse direction, right? So we can make use of this concept. How we can make use of this concept? That we can write a if condition. So how we can write a if condition? If str1 is equal to, right, if str1 is equal to str1, that means the reverse part of it. And what would be the reverse part of it? That would be the reverse part of it. So this is the forward string, obviously, and that would make it as reverse. And if they are equal, both are equal, obviously, that string would be a palindrome. So we can print it that it's a palindrome, right? So a kind of a toy programming, but just a way to quickly summarize the things what we did yesterday. So and then in the else we can say it's not palindrome, right? So that's there. Now this is there. So we can run this piece of code, and it says a string. So if I say Forsk, it says not palindrome. If I say let's say madam, and then it says palindrome. So that means it's working fine. And let's run it again this time, and I say madam, but now you can see M is capital, the first M is capital. So in this case, it's not palindrome. Why? Because the case sensitivity is there, and lowercase m is different from the uppercase m, and that's why the strings will not match. So if you want to remove the case sensitivity from this, how you can do that? You can apply a method called lower, right? If you remember from that discussion. So we can convert everything into the lowercase, and then compare the reverse and the forward string. Then in that case, you can handle the case sensitivity part as well. And in this case, now it will work fine for you, right? So that is there. That would be there. Now, after this, okay, Preeti, please take care. So Preeti is saying there are some fire evacuations warnings, so she may have to leave the meeting. That's fine, Preeti. You can catch up later on the YouTube. Please take care. So and thanks for the update. Now, after this, let's come to today's discussion now. So I'm just removing this part now. Okay, now let's start with. So how we declare a list, that we know now, right? Because we have been using it for a couple of days now. So this is a simple way to declare a list. So now this list has 5 integer items, and now we can use a type method as well to make sure that we know that how to check a data type. So we can use this. And if you want to know that how many items the list has, right? If you want to know how many items the list has, we already have a global method in Python which can let you know. So that is len, right? So we can print the length of a list with the same function what we were using in case of strings as well. And here we pass on the name of a list. So that's there. So on that way, you can see it will say the type is list, and number of items in the list are 5. Okay, it's not always necessary that you always keep the items from same data type only. No, a list can have a different a data type items as well. So you can have a collection in which one item is integer, one is float, other one is boolean or so. So you can see this, like you can declare it this way as well. So let's say you have 1, that would be an integer number, 2.3, that would be a float number, true, then it would be a boolean number, and then let's say we say states, for example. So that makes a valid list as well, no issues with that. So this is also allowed. So kind of this concept is called as heterogeneous in programming, right? So list is heterogeneous data structure that can have a different data type items as well. So this is there. Now for example, yeah, Lalit, we can have a list within the list. I will come to that point later on. So I'll take everything one by one. So, it would be easy for you to understand everything. So if I have a list again, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and I want to print the list items one by one that you already know now that we can use, for each loop, so for each x in list 1, and then saying print x, right? Saying print x. So this is the way we can print the items individually. Now here you can see that all of the items are printed separately, but in case you want to print all of the items in one line only, right? And for that purpose you can use one more keyword that is called and is equal to, here you have to specify that what would be your separator while printing the items. So maybe you can use a space, so that will specify a space for you, and now everything gets printed in one row only, that you can see on the console, but getting separated by a space. If you're not happy with this, that's okay, you can use a comma as well, here comes the comma as well. So you can have anything. Basically what is happening by default, this value is actually a slash n, it's a new line, and by default is this, and that's why you get everything one by one in the next line. So but if you want to use something else, you can do that. So this is there. Now couple of things. So this is again a list, and now see, we can use a slicing in the list as well. We already know what the slicing is. We have used that concept in the case of strings, right? So we can use index mechanism where we can print a value at a specific index. We can print a range as well. The same concept, same philosophy applies to a list, a data structure as well. So you can use indexing as well. So let's say you want to print the first item in the list. How you can do that? So that should be the name of your list, and then you have to use indexing. So you have a square brackets, and let's say you specify index 0. So obviously it will say that print the first item. And what is the first item in the list? It is 1. So here we get the 1. So okay, I have to use print here. So that will print the first item for us. So here we go. And now guys, can you quickly respond that what will happen if I say list 1 and then I say -1? What would be the response in that case? Do you remember that discussion from strings? So when you say -1, no Hers, it will not reverse the list. -1 is just a single value which is representing an index. And when we say -1, right, -1 means it will print the last item, because what is the reverse indexing? That this index is 0, this index is 1, this is 2, this is 3, and this is 4, right? And if we go in the reverse, this index is -1, this is -2, this is -3, -4, and so on, right? So Hers, if we say -1 here, then it will print a 5. Yeah, Dr. Muthi, you're right. So that is there. So we'll get a 5 here. Is that clear, Harsh, now? So because you are just specifying one single index, right? So it will not reverse the entire list. For that purpose, you have to use same concept. Like if we do this, right? If we do this, then only it will give me a reverse a list, right? So we are using the same concepts. Can you see this? We are using the same concepts what we had in case of a string. So that is there. So we can use all of those concepts. You can specify the range as well. Let's say you want to start with 1 and then going up to 4. So what will be printed here? The index value 1, index value 2, index value 3. 4 is excluded, right? So that's there. Concepts are same. Now Okay. So after this, right, let's understand one more concept. And this time it would be a little different from what we had in case of strings. Let's see, guys, I want to do one thing. I want to replace this item 1 with a new value, right? I want to write 10 here. So how I can do that? First, I need to get a access of this value. How I can get access of this value? For that, I need to use my data structure name, and then I need to use indexing. So obviously that will give me the access to this item. And now I'm just changing it. So how I can do that? Using assignment operator, and then I use a new value that has to be there. So if you remember, this kind of action, or this kind of statement was not allowed in case of strings, because we had an error in that case, and it was saying that uh, strings are read only. You cannot change that, right? And that's why we say that strings are immutable, because once initialized you cannot change. But is it possible here, right? So for that, we just need to run this code and see if there is any change in the list one. So I'm just printing that on the console. And can you see, Cyril? We have got a 10 here, right? Earlier it was 1 here, but because of this statement, now we are able to replace it. That means list can be modified, list can be changed, right? And this is exactly opposite of what happens with the strings. Strings are read only, strings are immutable, but list is a mutable data structure. Mutable means it can be changed, it can be modified. You can remove items, you can add items, you can do a lot of things around that. So if that is possible, that means I can modify my list. I can add more items into it. I can remove items from it. So how to add a new item? If I want to add a new item, how to do that? Right? That was a replacement. It was not addition of the new item. It was just a replacement, you know, for a previous value, and then we are getting some new value there. Right? But how we can add a new data item into it? So for that, we can use a method called list1.append. So append is the method, and yeah, Bharth, you're right. So list1.append, and then let's say I want to add 11 into it, right? So what will happen with this statement? Basically, it will add a new item, and the value is 11, right? But where it would be added? In the beginning or in the last or randomly? No, it will always add the item in the last. So if I run this, right, here you see where it is being added. So I just need to print it and see this. Can you see? The 11 has been added in the last, right? So whenever you're calling append, it will always add your item in the last. That's it, right? So this is there. Now, see, if append is always adding the items in the list, can we have some method which can, add item at any location, right? As long as we have an index that at this particular index, we want to add this value, can we do that? For that, we should know what are the various functions available in the list class. So how we do, how we check that, guys? Do you remember the dir method we had, right? And using dir, we can get to know what are the various methods available in a given class. And here, what the class is? List. So dir list. And can you see? We have a lot of dunder functions in the beginning, right? There are so many. And here, then we have, these methods. We have append. Do you know this? Append, we have already cleared, right? We have already used it. And we'll use, other methods as well to understand more around it. So see how to use them. Uh, Now let's see this insert method, right? What the insert is. So how to use insert? This time I want to add a new value, but at a given index. So how you can do that? Insert method. And insert basically requires two parameters from you. One parameter is at which index you want to add the item. So let's say I want to add the item in that index 1, right? And that item has to be, let's say, 12, right? So it will insert a new item at index 1. But what will happen with the item which is already at the index 1? Because already we have a 2 at index 1. Can you see this? What will happen to it? It is not a replacement, it is an insertion. So what will happen? The 2 will shift to the right actually, right? And following items as well, they will shift to the right. So 2 shifting to 3's location, 3 shifting to 4's location, and so on. So we are making an insertion here. So see this, we are running it. And now see list 1, and can you see? Now 12 is there at index 1, right? And then 2 got shifted to the right, and similarly the other items as well. So this is the insertion, right? If you now want to calculate the length, that I told you that you can use a alien method for that. So print alien, right? And here I say list 1, and then it will print the length. Now why I'm repeating this? Basically, when we are calling this alien method for a list, internally, this alien method will call the dunder method of list class. Internally, it will call the dunder method of the list class. And what is the dunder method for calculating the length? We can see here. So dir I'm calling, and then we am calling the list. See, here you have. So can you see a method? Can you see this? Double underscore alien, then double underscore, right? So can I use this directly? So let's try to use it. So what I do now, I am going to use this print method, and then dunder method, and this alien, and then dunder, and then passing on the list 1, right? Will it work? Let's see. Will it work or not? So I'm just calling it, oh, we get an error here, that this method is not defined. Although we know that internally this function is called by this global or public method, why it's not working? This will not work this way. If you want to use this, right? If you want to use this, you have to rewrite this statement in a different way, that you want to print the length. But how to print the length in this case? First, you have to make use of your object, right? And then using a dot operator, you have to specify that method. And what would be that method? Alien, right? Can you see this? This is there, right? So alien would be there. So now, it will not work, but this will work for you, right? So now here we see, we get, oh, is that, oh, I'm just sorry. I just need to use double underscore as well. So here, what's that? Just a minute. I made a mistake. Yeah, it has to be this way. I'm sorry. So this is there. So yeah. So here we go. So 7 and 7, yeah. So sometimes it happens. So now this is the way to use a dunder method as well. So you can use any dunder method this way. So you can use any global or public method directly without making use of a dot. But for dunder methods, you will have to do the same. What we did with the dunder for alien. So guys, can you please let me know? Is that clear with you? That how we can use it, right? Menu basically, the difference is simple. So let's say a menu, you have a string, right? This is str, and this here we write Forsk, right? So when you are doing alien, and then are calling str1, so calling alien a method for finding the list, right? So alien, and then calling the list 1 length, right? So now here you can see, we are calling the same method for a string and we are calling the same method for uh, a list as well. But now you have to understand that when I'm calling this alien method for a string, it will call the dunder method which belongs to str class here, right? Because if you check, if we do dir and then we do str, right? Uh, can you see this? We have a method for this class as well. Can you see there? So while we are calling this method, it will hit this dunder method, right? Not the method in the list class. And when you're using the method here, it will hit the method, dunder method in the list class. And internals may be different. Dr. Muthu, obviously, these are class methods, a kind of internal class method. We hardly go this way to calculate the length. We always use such kind of mechanisms to know the length. Meenu, is that clear with you? And MK? Okay. Yeah, thank you. So this is there. Harsh, are you okay? Are you good so far? Ankur, Lalit, uh, Preeti, Bharti, is that okay with you? Yeah. Yeah, Harsh, thank you for that. So now coming to the next thing. Let's say, thank you, Bharti. So sometimes you may get into a problem that you need to collect lot of inputs from the user, right? You may have some situation, some kind of a scenario where you need to take lot of values, multiple values from the user. And then what you can do in that case, maybe you can continue to take values or read input data from the user in a loop and store those values in a list. So how we can do that? Maybe we can run through a while loop, and inside the while loop we can keep asking the user that please enter the a number or a value, and then we can immediately append that value to a list. So once the loop is over, we will get all the values in a list. So how we can do that? Let's see here. So in the beginning, I'm just declaring a you know empty list, no items into it, just a declaration. That's it. Okay. And now what I'm doing, I'm going through a while loop that we did yesterday. So while, and I'm just making a condition true. So this is going to run every infinitely. And now I will call input method. So input, and then I say enter the number, right? Enter the number, and there you see, and let's say I enter the number here. So here we go, and okay. So now what we can do, we can actually append this number to the list one. So can we do this? List one dot append, right? And what to append? The number that we are reading. So we append this. Now there are a couple of things that we need to take care here. Right, this loop will work, no doubt about it, right? So let's run it so we'll understand more clearly. Here we see enter the number 10. So let's say I enter 10 here, and then again it is asking me. So let's say enter 11 here, then I enter 12 here, and so on, right? And I just don't enter anything, but still it is asking me, right? So let me forcefully close this, right? Forcefully close this. And now how we can programmatically terminate this loop. So first of all, first we need to print what is coming in the list one. Can you see? Oh, I just close that. So list one is not defined, but okay. So if that is not available to you, don't worry. What we can do here, there is a catch. you are getting the data from input method, right? And can you let me know that what would be the type of number in that case? What would be the data type of variable number or object number? What would be the data type? Do you remember that input always reads the data in which format? It always reads the data in uh, str format, right? Yeah. So what I can do, I want to store the numbers, right? I want to store the integer values in the list, right? So what I can do, I can typecast it. So how I can typecast it? I can do this. I can, before making a append, I can just typecast them to a integer. Okay. Now question comes that how to, okay, so to exit forcefully, Kalyan, you can, press. So as of now, you can see this is the run button, right? So this is the run button and it's running now. And now we are adding the items here. Let's say 1 and then 2, then 3 and 4, right? So, okay. So here, you can see that we got a error here, right? So, okay, let me run it again, Kalyan, for you. So this is again running. See this 1, 2, 3, and 4, right? If you want to come out of this loop forcefully, can you see this is the button, right? So here you can press it because this is now a stop button, right? This is not a run now. So you can press it. So that will work. But something else happened this time with us. If we are hitting enter button without writing anything, it gave me error. Can you see this? Value error it gave. Why? Because it is saying invalid literal for integer, right? It is saying that I was not able to typecast your, input to integer. Why it was not able? Because this time we gave an empty string to it, right? And it was not able to typecast that, and that's why it raised the error to us. So how we can handle this error? So we can probably help this way, that if number is empty, so how we can check this condition, guys? If you remember that yesterday, if not a number, right? If not number, what we can do? Can someone suggest me what keyword we should use here to break the loop? We need to use a break here, right? So we need to use a break here. So that's a simple mechanism to programmatically come out of the loop. So this is how you say. Okay. MK had a question that why do we use while? MK had a question that why do we use a while? So MK, basically we are using while so that we can take multiple inputs from the user in a repeated fashion, and at the same time what we are doing inside the loop, we are taking the input from the user, and at the same time we are typecasting them to an integer and appending to a list one, right? So that is the simple process. And if we want to come out of the loop, what condition we have put? That if user presses the enter button, right, without giving any value, then what we will do, we will break out of the loop, we will terminate the loop. So now you can see it will work. So I enter 1 here, then 2 here, then 3 here, then 4 here, and so on. And this time I want to take an exit. So how I can do that? I'm not writing anything. I will directly press the enter button. And here you see we are out of the loop, right? And now see what happens with our list one. And here you see you have got the items which were entered during that loop process. MK, is that clear, Mr. MK? Okay, thank you. Now let's move. So I have explained you the append method. I have explained you the insert method. So it will never run MK, right? So if you make it false, right, that means your condition is always false. You will never get an entry into the loop, right? So if you run this, if you make it false, it doesn't happen anything, and your list is still empty. That's it, right? False means no entry, The entry is only when you have a true condition here, right? Only if you have a true condition here. So this is there. So as long as this condition is true, your loop is running. But as long as this condition becomes false, you are out of the loop. So that's there. Anyway, it was a good question. So list one is this. Now, I want to remove some item from the list. So how I can do that? So these are a couple of items in my list and how I can remove. So for that, I will use a remove method. See this, remove, right? And in the remove, guys, you do not specify the index. You specify the value. And it will always remove the first occurrence of a value. It will always remove the first occurrence of a value, right? Because you can have, multiple items with the same value, right? But it will always remove the first occurrence, and it will raise an error if the value is not present in the list, right? So let's say I want to remove 2. So it will remove. So 2 is not an index. 2 is a value actually. That means I want to remove this value. So here we have, and then we have list 1 and C, right? This is there. 1, 3, 4, and 5, right? 1, 3, 4, and 5. So 2 has been removed now from the list. Okay. See, what happens if you have multiple items? Let's say you have 2 here as well. What will happen if we call this? In this case, only the first occurrence, would be removed. And now the second 2, which is there in the last, right, is still there in our list. Can you see this? Right. And if we do the remove again, right, if we do the remove again, then it will remove the second occurrence as well, because this method will remove the first occurrence and this will remove the second occurrence. So here we see, we can, use this, and we have this one. Can you see? 1, 3, 4, and 5. So 2 is removed. So now see, if you have, let's say, other items, and 2, is there for multiple times. Can you see? 2 is here as well, 2 is here as well, 2 is here as well, and 2 is here. So we have, 2, 4 times there. How to handle this kind of a situation where we want to remove all the occurrences of 2? What we want to do, guys? We want to remove all the occurrences of 2. How we can do that? Maybe, the crude process, right? A very basic process would be something like that, that first we can count how many 2s are available. So how to do that? Maybe we can call a method called count, right? This is their count. And what we want to count? How many 2s are there? So can you see? Oh, I just need to use a print. Otherwise, it will not print me. So here we go. So see, it will print me that you have 4, right? And in that case, the crude way is that we should call remove 4 times, because the value we got from the count method is 4, and we can call a list 1 dot remove 2 4 times, right? So I can just repeat the same statement 4 times here and here, and this way also you are able to handle this problem, right? But is it a good idea? What do you think? Is it a good idea that you can manage the removal of these items, right? This. I think it's not a good idea. Do you agree, guys? Is it a good idea or bad idea? Is it a good programming way, right? So so it's not a very good idea to have, right? So what we can do in that case, basically, you can see this remove methods is repeatedly called, right? We are calling remove, then again remove, then again remove, and then again remove. That means we can do a kind of a looping here. So rather than having this way, right, we can do something else. So what we can do, we can just keep them in a commented section. So here we put them in the commented section here, and see this. What I do, I say something like that. While, okay, so because I don't know how many times 2 is there, right? 2 can be there for 2 times, 2 can be there for 10 times, I don't know. But I want to remove all the occurrences. That means it is kind of an indefinite iteration for me. So what I can do, in case of indefinite, what is the loop that I should go for? Obviously, while is the loop for that purpose. So now I have to specify the condition that for how long this while loop will continue to run. And what condition I can specify here? That as long as 2 in list 1, right? As long as 2 is there in the list 1, you need to continue in the loop. That means while 2 in list 1, what we need to do? As long as 2 is in the list, we need to remove that. So what method I can call? I can call this a simple statement, right? That while 2 in the list, what to do? Keep on removing, and that's it. Now, I don't care how many times 2 is there, because the loop will take care of it itself. As long as the 2 is there in my list, I'm just going to remove it, and that's it. And now here you can see it will handle that part, and now you don't see anything as such from 2 is not there. So is that clear that how while loop simplified our a problem statement that is there? Can you please let me know your feedback? Is it okay with everyone so far? Meenu saying yes, Lalit saying yes, Kalyan saying yes. Okay. Yeah, Bharti. Okay. Dr. Muthu. Okay, saying yes as well. Thank you for that. Harsh, good? Going good with you? No, okay, fine. Yeah. Now, Bharti had a specific question that I don't want to remove everything, and I don't want to remove the first item as well, right? What I want to do, I want to remove the second 2, right? I want to remove the second 2. So where it is, can you see? This is index 0. This is index, a 2, and this is index 3, and so index 0, index 1, index 2, index 3, and so on. So Bharti, as such, we do not have any specific way, right? We do not have any specific way for that, right? But you can do one thing. You can use a one more method, right? So in remove, we do not have any specific way to do that, but you can use some other method actually. And what is that method? So let's go to our dir, and then we can get to know that method probably. That may help us. Can you see there is a pop method? Do you see pop method is there? So how it works? Let's see. I'll explain that here. So this is your list. This is your list, right? And here you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So I'm using console directly this time. So this is our list. And now I say list1 dot pop. What it is doing? So it popped the item 5. That means it removed the last item from the list. Can you see? The 5 is gone from the list. I do one more pop. What will happen in that case? Right? It removed the last item again. So it removed the 4 again. So now your list is shrinking actually, right? Items are getting removed from that. So can you see? So in actually, pop is doing what? Pop is always removing your last item from the list, right? Pop is always removing last item in the list. But we can specify, right? We can specify the index as well in the pop. we can specify the index as well in the pop. So let's see, if currently list one has 3 items, and now I say, list one dot pop, right? And now I say 1. What will happen? Will it work or will it raise an error? Let's see what happens in that case. Can you see, Bharti, now? When I give a index 1, what is the meaning if I give index 1? That means it will hit this item. It will remove this item. Why it will remove this item? Because I have said that please remove the item which is at index 1. And this is index 0 item, right? This is index 1 item, and this is the index 2 item. So if I say this, this is, the way. So if you want to remove a specific, item, so maybe you can use this. Bharti, is that clear now with you? Is that okay with you now? Okay, thank you, Bharti. Now, okay, couple of more things. So here we have this list, right? Here we have this list. If you want to, empty the list, you want to clear the list, right? No, Kalyan, not possible. So Kalyan is saying in the pop, can I specify multiple indexes? So I think better to, check it out. As long as I'm aware, this is not possible. So Kalyan is saying, so can we have, a multiple items? Can we specify multiple indexes, right? So let's say this is the list. So can we do something like that? List one dot a pop, and now inside the pop, can we have something like that? Let's say I want to remove 1 and 2, right? Is that possible? No, it doesn't work. Okay, can we get something like maybe can we do something like that? Let's see. No, so it's not going to work, Kalyan. We have to specify a single index at a time only, right? Now we have this list, and I say list one dot clear, right? List one dot clear. List one dot clear. This will, make my list empty. As of now, we have so many items in the list, but if I call list one dot clear, you will see everything got removed from the list. Can you see? We got nothing in the list. That is, no items in the list. So this way we can do this. Okay. One more way. Let's say you have a list which is empty, right? And now you want to initialize with a certain value. Let's say you want to initialize all of the items with a value 0. But you don't know how many items it has to be, right? It will just create a list with the only single item, and that single item would be 0, right? That single item would be 0. But if you say something like that, right, then what it will do, it will create 10 items in the list for you, and every item would be initialized to what? This value. And what is this value? 0. So let's see this, if this is working for us or not. So here we go, and we print the list one. Can you see? All the items got initialized to a value which is 0, right? And you can specify any number here. It's not, so maybe you can say 3 here. So in that case, every value would be initialized with a 3 only. Just, that is the case, right? Also, you can, if you want to remove something, you can make use of a global function as well, global method as well, del, right? And in the del, maybe you can say that please remove a list one, and I can specify the index as well, right? So if I remove everything from here, you can see I have got the list 1 is equal to this. And now if I say, please remove item which is at index 2, right? Which is at index 2. What will happen in that case? It will remove the item which is index 2. So this is index 0, this is 1, and this is 2, right? So it will remove that item. So del, and can you see this in the list 1? So here you see 3 is no more there. But del, right, that it stands for delete. Delete is not a class method, right? It's a public method like alien and all, right? So this is, so del can work with other objects as well, right? The same way the alien is working with other objects, the del will work for the list items if you want to remove. Okay, now a couple of more things around it. So let's say this time we have a list one, which has some names, right? Not number this time. For example, you have a city called Los Angeles, right? So this is there. So this is one city. Then we have Mill Valley, right, in CA. So this is there. Then we have one more city. Let's say this time we have San Diego, right? So this is there. So this is there we have. Now, what I want to do with this list. So I want to sort out the data, right? I want to sort the list. As of now, you have so many items with you, and you want to sort out. So what will happen if we sort it out? So as of now, we have this list, and when we say list one dot sort, right? There is a method called sort, list one dot sort, right? So here it will sort me the list. So let me see what comes in the list one. Oh, it's already in sorted order. So can I change something? So maybe I can use some other city name. Can someone suggest me a name which is starting from A or something else? So maybe I can do something here, right? Angeles, okay, here I do. And I remove the valley here as well, right? So, okay. And I take one more. Okay, people are suggesting. So I say Fremont, let's say this time. So let's see now. And I'll keep this Angeles in the last, better, right? So I will remove this from here, right? And do here. And then Fremont here, for example. So I think now better. So what happens in this case? So here we have and see list one. Can you see? This time, our list got, sorted out in the alphabetical order. So Angeles came first, then Fremont, then San Diego, and then Valley. Earlier, this was our original list, right? This was, originally our list, right? But now we sorted out. And can you see one thing? That when I'm doing, this, Dr. Muthu, this is available for number as well, not issue. We can sort out the numbers. So let's say if you have list one is equal to, 10, 10, or then you have 3, and then you have 2, and then you have 5, and so on, something like that. Can you do this list one dot sort? Yes, we can do list one dot sort. So here, see this is there, and here we go. Okay, so list one dot sort. Okay, now print the list one, and here you see it is sorted. Okay, one thing you have to remember is that when I'm calling list one dot sort, it is not giving me any output on the console. Do you think when I call this sort method, it didn't give me anything in the return, right? It didn't give me anything in the return. When I say list one dot sort, can you see? Again, it has to be list one actually, right? So when I say list one dot sort, it never returns me anything, right? So this there. So this is there. So see this. Can you see all of that? List one dot sort. Now there is no output. Why there is no output? Because what has happened here, list one has list one has been sorted out at the memory label only, right? That means the list has been sorted out without giving any output. This is kind of known as in-memory sorting. This is called as kind of a in-memory sorting. So it is not giving me the sorted output. The list itself has been sorted out. So original list has been modified, because we can modify the list, right? So lists are not immutable. They are not read-only. They can be modified, Bharti, right? Strings are immutable. List can be, and that's why we are able to append. That's why we are able to remove. That's why we are able to insert. That's why we are able to pop. That's we are able to sort out items, right? So they are mutable. So this is called as in-memory sorting, and it's not the case that you can always sort in the increasing order. You can do a reverse order as well. And how you will do that in that case? In that case, you just have to specify a parameter that reverse, right, is equal to false, right? Or equal to false is not the case, true, right? Reverse is equal to true. So what will happen in that case? Can we see this output here? See, and what happens in this case? List one. So here you see, right? Valley, San Diego, and then Fremont, and then Angeles, right? So earlier Angeles was before the Fremont, but after doing a reverse, sorting, we have got this. Bharti, can you correct yourself? Lists are not immutable, right? So now Bharti has a question, right? Bharti says, what do I do to multiply all the items in the list by 5? So Bharti has a question, something like that if I have, a list one like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and I want to multiply all of the items in the list by 5. So as such, is it possible if we can do something like that? Let's take the list here on the console directly. That would be good to have. My RAPL is getting connected. It's failed to connect. Just let me reconnect. Okay, I think it got connected now. Okay, yeah. So here we have the list one, which has initially a couple of items here, right? See this. Here we have. And now Bharti is saying, I want to multiply every item with a value 5. So can we do something like that? List one multiplied with 5. Is that possible? No, right? What it did, it basically, repeated these items 5 times, right? Can you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then again 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then again 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on, right? If you want to multiply every item with a 5, how you can do this, right? Maybe you can do it kind of using a loop. So how we can do this? So you can do this way, Bharti, that for each item in list one, right? What you can do, you can print the item, for example, right? Say, and how you can do a multiply with the 5, item into 5, right? So this way, what will happen? It will take every item from the list one and multiply it with the 5 and print it. But we don't want to print, right? We want something else. So maybe we can do one thing. We can create an empty list in the beginning. That would be list 2. And this is empty. And what I can do, I can append these items which are multiplied with 5 to a new list and append them. So this way is possible. This way, what I will get? I will get all the items multiplied with the 5, but in the list 2, basically, not in the list 1, right? Your list 1 is still that. And now in the list 2, what is we have? We have all the items multiplied, right? But if you want, maybe you can do one thing, that you can assign list 1 to a list 2. So in that case, you can manage that your entire data is back in the list 1, right? But better to keep a separate list that will help you out. So is that clear, Bharti, that how using a looping mechanism we were able to get the multiplication of each item by 5 in a separate list? That is the way you can do that directly. No method available as such in the list, what I think you are looking for. Yeah. So we got this as well. Okay. We have one more method which is called as reverse as well, right? So sorting we have done. We have a reverse as well. So it will a print, or it will basically reverse the items in the list 1. So what is available in the last will become the first item. What is available in the second last will become the second item, and so on. So here we see. And can you see if I print the list 1? Can you see? Fremont is now at the first, Angeles in the second, San Diego third, and Valley in the last. So that is there. So this is the way we can reverse the items as well. We can reverse the item as well. And now Kalyan had a question. Now I'll come to that question now. See, let's say I have a list 1 here. Right, I have a list 1 here, which is 1, 2, 3, for example, well, let's say 4 as well. And I have a one more list 2, right? And this time I have 10, 20, 30, and then 40 there, right? So list 1 is there, list 2 is there. Now, what I want to do, I want to do one thing here. I want to take list 2 items one by one, and I want to append them in the list 1. What I want to do, I want to individually take each item from the list 2 and want to append them in the list 1, right? And how I can do that? Maybe we can try one thing. So maybe I can do this list 1, right? And then do append. And what to append in the list? List 2 I'm appending. See this. List 2 I'm appending. So what will happen in that case? So can you see this method is okay working with me? What is the output in the list? Can you see that 1, 2, 3, 4 was earlier in the list, no issues. But can you see that entire list 2 has been appended, right? But what was my interest? My interest that I should be able to add the items individually. As of now, list 2 got added in the last at a single index only. Can you see? This is the index 0, this is index 1, this is 2, this is index 3, and this is index 4. So if I say list 1 index 4, right, it will print me all the items which are into the list 2 now. So this is this, right? And can you see my entire list? So that means this is not what I wanted to have. Then what I want? Actually, I want that item should be added individually. How I can do that? There is one mechanism. How we can do that? Maybe we can use a loop. How to do looping? I will run a loop on list 2. So for each item in list 2, right? And then I'm reading each item in the list 2, and I will append that item in the list 1, right? So that can be one case. So that can be one way to do that. And then I append the item here. So can you see in this case what is happening? I'm reading the items one by one from the list 2 and then appending them in the list 1. And this case, my problem is solved. Can you see? Now all the items from the list 2 are individually added at different indexes now. Okay. Now see again, what is, can there be another way? Yes, there is a one more way as well. So we don't go with the looping, we go with some other way. What is that? We call a one more method which is called as extend, right? And pass on the list to there, right? Now extend will do the same effect what we were doing in the loop. Extend method will take one item at a time from the list 2 and add it to the list 1. So here we see the output remains the same, what we were doing in the case of loop. So can you see items are individually added? So Kalyan, did you get your answer that we can add a list within the list, right? We can add a list within the list. And that was happening when we were doing append of a list 2 in the list 1. So that is, so it can have, a list within the list within the list. So it can have nested a list as well, it can have a nested list, right? So let me know, guys, I have a question for you. So let's say I have a list, this is the list I have, 1 2 3 and 4, and then I append this entire list right at this index. This is there. Can you see this? And now what I want, I want to print this 10, this 10 only. Can someone give me that what should be the indexing that I should use to print the value 10 only, this 10? What should be the indexing to print the 10? Can you do this exercise at your end and let me know what would be the index mechanism here? Kalyan, can you exercise that? Harsh, what do you think? Bhati, Ankur, Minu, Dr. Muthu. Okay. So Harsh, see, you can see that, okay, let me do one thing. So I remove this everything, right? And this as well. We are here only. See. See, if we are just printing list 1, right? It prints the entire list, right? And now can you see, because this is treated as a single item, right? And what is the index of this single item? So as of now, this is 0, this index is 1, this index is 2, this index is, 3. So 0, 1, 2, and 3, and this index is 4. So either I can do list 1 and index 4, that will print me this entire list. But I'm not interested in printing the entire list, right? What I'm interested in just printing the 10. So as of now, this index is giving me this list. And from this list, if I want the 10 only, what I need to do in that case, I need to specify that this is giving me the entire list. And now within that list, I need to specify one more index that I want the first item only. So can you see, right? Can you see this? That, from here to here, actually, oh, I'm not able to select. So from here to here, from there and this is giving me a complete list. And within that complete list, I'm interested in the first item only. So I specify a one more index. And here you see, it will print me the 10, right? And Harsh, you are right. I can do one thing, that rather than, specifying 4 here, I can specify -1 here as well, right? That will give me the entire list. And now within that list, what I can do, I can say that print, give me the first item. So this is also possible. So meaning, did you get it? You tried. Thanks for that. But a little correction in your case. So that is there. So Dr. Muthu, is that clear now? Kalyan? It's a kind of a multi-dimensional, way, so you have seen such kind of indexing in C programming in your university days, or your learning base, right? So that is there. So it will fetch, so kind of, this first index kind of specifies the row, and within that, then you come to, a column selection. So this is kind of, the row selection, and then you have the column. So this is column 0, this is column 1, then column 2, and then column 3. That is the way you can handle it. Okay, what will happen if I say, okay, exercise, just say a -1, and then I say -1. What will happen in that case? Yes, Ankur, you are right. Right. This time, what will happen? Harsh, a little, yeah, you're right this time, right? Harsh, you're right. So first -1 will fetch me this entire list, right? And after that, the next -1 will go to the last item. So that would be 40 in this case, right? That would be 40 in this case. Yeah, Lalit, you're right. Thank you. So Kalyan, Minu, is that clear now? That y -1 gave us 40? Yeah, thank you. So I think it's is it okay, guys, if I ask you a question in between? I think that way, I can keep you engaged. Actually, I can keep you focused. Is it good, or like should we avoid it? I don't know. What is the general way of uh, mode of conduct in US? I don't know about it. So that is kind of first time experience for me. So if that is okay with everyone, we'll continue this way. Otherwise, we can skip that. Okay, so Dr. Muthu is saying, so fine to ask. Thank you, Dr. Muthu. Bharti saying it becomes more interactive. Lalit is also saying I'm fine. Yeah. Thanks for that. Harsh, are you okay? This way, you sometimes you need to scratch your head. So, good things happen in that way. Yeah, right. So, okay. So now let's move. Okay. In the same time, a couple of inbuilt methods which are handy sometimes in case of a list. Let's say you have 1, 2, 3. That would be my last discussion on the list, and then we'll move to the something else next, right? So list 1 is equal to this. Let's say you have this, and you have 0 here as well, and you have something else as well. Let's say this is the list, guys. And we can use certain methods which are handy to us. So let's say I want to know the maximum number in the list 1. So I can directly call a method called max here and pass on the data which is in the list 1, right? So this is there. Oh, sorry. So list 1. So can you see we got the maximum value from the list, right? We can go same way for the minimum value in the list 1, right? So here we get the minimum value as well. We can sum, we can add all the items in the list as well. So we have a method called sum for that. List 1. Oh, it is a list 1 actually. So we have this 27, and we, so there are a couple of methods in this way, right? We can call max directly, we can call min directly, we can call the sum directly as well. Now after, yeah, it will give a issue, Lalit, right? It will give a issue. So Lalit is saying what happens if we have a string, right? So Lalit is saying that if we have a 1 string here, what will happen in that case if I go for a max? So we can try with that, right? So no issues. Max is there, and then, our list 1 is there. And can you see, Lalit? We got error here, right? Because it was not able to make a comparison that which one is greater, because one item was integer and one item was a string. So no comparison possible in that case, and that's why it was throwing error to us. Now I'm going to a next topic for today, and that next topic for today is a tuple, for example. is a tuple now. What the tuple is. So first of all, uh, tuple can be defined this way. Tuple can be defined. So let's say I'm going to declare a tuple with the name TP, for example. So this is the object name, and I declare a tuple using this syntax, right? And I say 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Can you see this? And I want to check what the data type this is, right? So I want to print that what is the data type of object TP. So here we go. Can you see this? This time we get a output that it's a tuple. Okay, what happens with the tuple? So basically, again, this is a mechanism for data collection, the same way what we were doing with the list. But there are, certain differences in the behavior of a list and a tuple. In case of a list, right, we had a lot of functions because it was possible to modify a list. We were able to pop, we were able to remove, we were able to insert, we were able to sort, we were able to append, we were able to reverse. Everything was possible there. But this is not possible in case of a tuple, because tuples once initialized become read-only. You can initialize, you can specify the data, but after that, you cannot remove an item from the tuple. So that is not possible that you can do something like that, tp.remove, and then please remove, a value 3 from my tuple. This is not possible. Can you see? We got error. That tuple has no method called remove, right? Even we can't do this kind of activity that we want to replace a previous value. Let's say we want to replace a value which is at index 0, right? Indexing is allowed, no doubt about it. We can have an indexing here, right? We can have indexing here. That is allowed. It will print me the first item from the tuple that is there. But assignment is not possible because tuples are read-only. So I can't do this, something like that, at index 0, I want to write something new. Let's say I want to replace 1 by 10, right? Because at index 0, currently 1 is there, and I want to write a new value. Is it allowed? No, not allowed. It says item assignment is not possible. That means the behavior is very similar to strings. Strings are read-only, tuples are also read-only, right? You cannot make any change. Then why we are using them? If we cannot make any change in the data that we have in tuple, then what is the use? The use is sometimes, very, much needed. Let's say you want a collection of a data, and you want that collection of the data should not change during the program execution in any way. Even accidentally, someone should not be able to modify my data during the program execution. And if you want that way, you can keep all those values in a tuple. This is kind of a behavior that you see when we use a keyword called constancy programming. If you remember, guys, there was a keyword called const that makes your data, that makes your variable read only, that once initialized, you cannot change it later on during program execution. The same behavior works with the tuple as well, that once initialized, you cannot change the content. You can apply indexing, you can apply the looping as well. You can print the items one by one, because that is a read-only activity. So for each item in TP, right? For each item in TP, what to do? Print item. That is possible, right? We can do that. The values would be printed one by one, but you cannot change them. And because they are read-only, we have limited functionalities in case of tuple. And so if we go for a dir method and I say tuple, give me the list, what methods I can go, I can use. Can you see we are only left with the two methods in the public domain? Count method is there and index method is there. What the count will do? Count will let you know, how many times a particular value is repeated in the tuple, right? So let's say if I have a 4 here, right, and then I want to know that how many times 4 has come, then what I can say, TP and then dot, and then count, right? Count, and then saying how many times 4 has count. So that will give me the count. So it will print the count here. So it should print 2 for me, right? Because 4 is coming twice in the list, in the tuple. So here we go, right? So this is there, and I can check the indexes as well, that a particular value, if I want to know that what is the index of 3, how I can check that. I can check index of the 3 using this method index, right? And let's say I specify 3. So, give me the index of 3. In that case, it will print me 2 here, right? Because index 2 is this. 0 is 1, and this is 0 index. This is 1 index, and this is 2 index. So only 2 methods are there. And if that is the case, right? What is their use case scenarios, right? So what are the no, alien is there, Lalit. You can use alien. Can you see? Alien is okay. We just calculating the length of a tuple, that how many items are there. It will print me that, right? So that is there, because alien is not the method of the class. Alien is a global public method, right? It's a public in the public method. So, but not a part of the class. Now, what is the use case of a tuple? So in my experience, tuple is particularly good if you want to club multiple values in a single object. So let me explain this concept. We have a method div mode. This is an internal method in Python, div mode, right? And what happens with the div mode? Let's understand that. Let's say I have a value 23, 4. It takes 2 parameters actually, and then you will understand what I'm talking about. Div mode. And let's see what is the response coming up. It is giving me 2 values. It is giving me 2 values. Actually, it is not giving me 2 values. It is returning only a 1 object only. And do you know, guys, what is the type of that object which has been returned by this function call? I was calling a function. Which function? Div mode. What parameters I passed on? 23, 4, right? And it returned me something. And do you know, guys, what is the type of the value that has been returned by it? It's a tuple. You can see with the syntax, right? And if you're not sure about it, you can call the type method as well. And you can call div mode, right? The method there. And then, you say this. So it will specify that what is the return type of this particular function, right? So, it says it returns a tuple, and that's why we see it's a tuple. So from a function point of view, it has returned me a single object only, right? And inside that single object, I have 2 data. One is 5 and one is 3. What the 5 represents, guys? 5 represents the quotient, that when you divide 23 by 4, right, the quotient is 5. And what is 3? 3 is the remainder, that when you divide, so when you divide 23 by 4, so maybe you can do this integer division, right? So integer division is what? 23 by 4. So yeah, you have integer division, right? Can you see this? You have this. And what is the remainder? How you calculate the remainder? Or which operator do you use for remainder, guys? I think that works, right? So this is there. So this is the way. So a quotient and then a remainder. So this is the way. And what happened, the interesting part that happens, that when you use div mode in the code here and pass on certain values, let's say we are passing 23 and 4. And now, guys, I do one thing, very, very interesting to know about it, that I take 2 variables, x, y. Can you see? I have been using 2 object variables in the same line. X, y is equal to div mode. Now, what will happen? Is it allowed or not? And if it is allowed, what will happen? What value will x hold, and what the value the y will hold? See this. So after doing this execution, can we see what comes into the x? See this, guys, and what comes into the 5. Can you see? This was basically, because we know div mode returns a tuple, and what comes in the tuple for us in this case in tuple? 5 comma 3 was coming to us, right? And if this is the case, what happens? X, is assigned this value. In order assignment is happening, right? And Y is assigned 3. So this is the way, tuples can be used, and we'll see more use cases around tuples. This is the way we can do that. So did you get a little idea around tuple? We'll understand more around tuple. I'll discuss tuples maybe a day after tomorrow as well. I will do that on the last day as well. I will do that, right? So, and now a last concept in the tuple. We can have okay. So again, a tuple can have a variety of values, right? So it can have integer, it can have a float, it can have a string as well, right? This is very well allowed, Lalit, right? Now let me tell you what will happen. What you say, what would be the type of this object if I do something like that? What would be the type of this object if I do something like that? What do you think? What would be the type of this variable TP? What do you think? Okay, Harsh, thank you. So what do you think? Will it be a tuple? Will it be an integer? What do you think? As per, a definition, it seems like, it has to be a tuple, right? By definition, or by just looking at kind of a scenario in terms of syntax, it seems to be a tuple, but actually it's not tuple. Let's print this, right? Print the type of this. See. This is saying integer, right? Why it is giving me an integer? It is giving me an integer, because basically when you only use a single item, right? If you use a single item, this becomes an integer. This is not a tuple anymore. That means I cannot define a tuple with a single item. No, you can define a tuple with a single item. And for that case, you need to put a comma after that, right? For that case, you need to put a comma, and here you put a comma. And you see, this time your type has become a tuple. Bharti, right? So earlier it was integer, but after placing a comma, it became a tuple. Is that concept clear with everyone? Is this concept clear with everyone? Kalyan, Lalit, Bharti, MK. Okay. Ankur, is that clear with you? So this is there. Okay. So after having a short discussion on the list, now I'm moving to a new concept or a new topic, that is functions. That how we declare, how we define a function in Python. A very simple approach to define a function in the Python. How do you do that? You need to use a keyword to define a function. So how you define that? Def, right? Def is there. Def is the keyword. And after using this keyword, you need to mention the name of your function. So you say add num. Let's say that is the name of my function, add num or nums, for example. And after that, you need to use parentheses. And inside parentheses, you need to specify the parameters, that what parameters it will take from the user while calling. So I say it will take 2 parameters, A and B. I don't specify the data type, right? So it takes 2 parameters, A and B. And then we have colon, right? And after that, there is a change in the indentation that you can see, right? And I can, print anything here. Let's say print, and then I can say inside the function, right? So let's say I print this inside the function, right? Which function? Add nums, right? So this is there. And then after doing something here, I have to use a keyword called return. And after that, I need to specify what I want to return. As the function name suggests, I want to add the values. So what I can do, I can add the values. How I can add the values? I can do a plus v. So what the output comes from a plus v, that would be returned. Who is calling the add nums? So this is a definition, a simple function definition. And I can call this function, right? So how I can call this? I'm calling this function. How I can call it? I need to mention the name of the function, right? And inside, a parenthesis, I need to pass on the actual values, right? A and B are the parameters. They will hold the values, what you pass while calling. So let's say I pass 3, 4. That means now we are calling this function. While calling the function, control will go to this function. While control is shifting from this statement to this function, along with the control shift, it will take values 3 and 4 and assign 3 to A and assign 4 to B. And then inside the function, we will get an execution of the first statement and followed by the next statement. Next statement is a return statement. A plus B will be calculated. That will make 7. 7 would be returned, right? Where it will return, the control is coming back and the 7 would come here. So entire statement, which is selected as of now, add nums, is basically equivalent to what we get in the return. So basically what we get in the return will 7. So it will print a 7 to us. So let's call it and understand this concept. So here we are calling, we have already defined it. So we are calling the mechanism, calling the function, and there we see that this is the first statement inside the function add nums, and here is the output, right? So this print, right, this statement inside the function is printed because of this print statement, and 7 is printed because of this statement, right? Because print is calling a one more function, and what is written by this function, we are just printing that, right? So this is there. And now uh, after this, I can take one more definition for you. Let's say I take a one more function, def is the keyword. And this time I name, a function as greetings. And this time my function takes no parameters, my function takes no parameters. And in the return, I'm returning a string actually. And I'm saying, hi, from fine, folks in Forsk, for example. This is, my greeting, a message to the people who will call the greetings, right? So this is there. And if I call greetings, right? So if I call the greetings, okay. So I can call the greetings from here, right? As well. See this? Greetings. And because there are no parameters required, I'm just calling this way only. And here I get the message. So this is the return, right? That I I got while calling this. And now guys, do you remember that when we call a dir method, let's say we want to call a dir method for tuple, right? It gives me the list of functions, and if I want to know about a particular function, then I call a help. Do you see help, right? And inside help, I'm calling the count method, for example, right? And how to specify the count? This is not the right way to call the count. I need to specify the class first. So it would be a tuple dot count, right? Tuple dot count. So here, we get the help. Can you see? We get the help. And what is the help? It return a number of occurrences of the value. Can this happen with my function as well that I have recently defined? Can it happen if I say, give me the help on function add nums, for example, right? Can it give me, see this, add nums? Will it give me some help? No, right? There is no help available, right? Nothing. Why? Because I have not specified anything while declaring a function, right? I have not given any kind of a documentation. I have not specified what the function does, and that's why I was not able to get any help. I need to specify that. How I can specify that? For that purpose, I need to use triple quotes, right? So this is the start of the triple quotes, and this is the end of the triple quotes, right? And whatever inside these triple quotes, it's kind of a multi-line comment, right? If you remember, here I can write, right? Here I can write that this function, right? This function adds two numbers. This is a simple, a text that I have written. So if someone calls the help for this function, right, he or she will got this, he will or she will get this message. So if I call help now and called add nums, right, here, can you see? Now we have a help available. And that's why, guys, I tell you that although we use triple quotes for multi-line commenting, we can declare a string with triple line, quotes as well. But the real use of a triple quotes is to specify the documentation, right? And this concept is known as doc string. You know what we call this concept as doc string. What the doc means? Documentation. So this is the string used for documentation purpose, right? So this will work as a doc string, right? So this is there for today. So this is there for today. So we can this, and then we can call the help now, and saying add nums, and here, oh sorry, here we go. This function adds two numbers. So I'm done for today, guys. And how was it? Please share your feedback. Any suggestion, any feedback, we are open to it. We are, we welcome that. Please share your, thoughts around it. How was the day for you today? So Bharti saying a good session. I'll continue to keep it interactive. Thank you, Bharti. Yes, we have a homework, Bharti, right? It's available on the Google Drive. You can go there, Bharti. Kalyan saying good class, need practice. Yeah, Kalyan, practice will make you much better. Yeah. Ankur saying it's going great. It's going good, right? So Bharti, assignment is available in the day 3 folder on the Google Drive. You can go there and check, right? Dr. Muthu is saying, good class, can you share the video? Yeah, Muthu, Dr. Muthu, the videos are available on the YouTube, right? We have a channel called Fast Coding School, right? And you can go there and watch the videos. And generally, we share the link over email as well every day, and it comes to your WhatsApp as well, right?
Muthu is not registered, so that's why he doesn't get. I'll request
Okay.
Muthu that I've shared your link with you. Please register yourself so we have your details with us.
So everybody is getting the links to videos and Dr. Muthu. So please, I request you to make a registration. Lalit saying, I loved it. Can we include some examples using Excel data? That becomes kind of a data analytics, Lalit, right? But let me check if I can do something around that, right? Minu is saying, thank you so much. I just wanted to check if you will go through a decorator concept. A decorator or generator concepts are little advanced, Minu. I think we will take them in some other session, right? Because it is just a start of Python, right? and most towards the beginners, are kind of people who want to just enter into this domain, and then we plan a next. So what we can do, if you like, guys, we can arrange uh, uh, one more session, one more series that will go for 1 week, and there we talk about memory management in Python, where we talk about object-oriented programming concepts in Python, where we talk about how the databases are, how the database interaction can happen in Python, or how a concept of a generator or a decorator works, right? So kind of those advanced topics into that. But as of now, Minu, I'm sorry. In this series, no plans to for that. Bharti is saying, do you have a list of frequently asked interview questions? Thanks for the input, Bharti. As of now, we don't have, but if we have something, some kind of input, probably, we can do that. Bharti saying, please let us know if you plan on taking data analytics and ML in depth classes. Would be interested. Bharti, I think we can do that. Bharti saying, I would be interested to take paid sessions as well. Okay, we'll discuss, Bharti, around that. So now I have one announcement for you to make. In the beginning, in the first day, I told you, right, that if you plan to take a certificate for this program, yeah, Bharti, if you plan to take a certificate for this program, now you have a option. You can register yourself on this link, and we will issue a, a certificate in PDF format. That would be a soft copy, and we will share that certificate over the email to you. And as I told you in the day one, the price for that is $10 only, 10 USD. If you are interested to get a certificate for this. Obviously, program is free to join and audit. Nothing on that part. But if you need a certificate, you need to register yourself on this and pay $10 for it. So thank you for that. If you guys are okay, so maybe I have a request to make. If you want to leave, you can leave. But I have a I have a request with everyone. If you are ready to help on that, you can continue in this room. It will take around 10 minutes for me to complete that discussion. I'm done with the class, nothing related to that. But I want to take few inputs from you. So if you are happy to share your inputs, you can continue in the room, else you can leave, up to you. So should I, or like, what do you say, guys? Are you staying with me? Okay, Bharati is saying yes, please go ahead. MK saying yes, okay. Amin is also saying yes, okay. Ankur saying yes, yes. Kalyan, you want to continue? Yeah, okay, fine. So what the discussion point is, guys, this is our first program for US territory. So far, we have been doing such programs in India only, right? And I can take pride in telling you that in last 3-4 months, around 25,000 to 30,000 students from India and working professionals and people from academy have registered for our various programs. And generally, the batch, a single batch size that goes in Zoom class is around 500 people in a single batch, right? So 500, 400, 600, 700, that is, the strength of a particular, a day. And then we have a lot of TAs and everything, a complete team that is there to help you out. So generally, me and Dr. Sylvester or some senior people are the speaker, storytellers, and there is a team of TAs available, to help out people in case they get some issues even after the class. That is generally the process of doing, and this is something we are doing for the first time. So can you guys help us in understanding market, because you guys are living there, the stuff very well. So what kind of, I have a couple of questions. So what kind of courses, interactive courses, obviously, what kind of courses, we can plan to float out so people would be more interested to register? And what you know will people would be interested in paid courses as well? And if they are interested in the paid courses as well, what should be the a price range? What should be the range of those pricing? You just need to give us some feedback on that. And if it is a paid program, what is the format like? Do we invite people first for the free and then take let them take a decision they want to continue or not in a paid model? So kind of a freemium model, right? So a couple of things are free, and then if you want something more, there is a price for it. So that is the overall a discussion point. So I would welcome everyone if you can share your thoughts, your ideas, your suggestions, how we can take the things from now. If you want to make a good mark in the US territory, do we need any change in the format? Do we need anything else? How, what are the various platforms where we can promote ourselves? What is the way to do a promotion, right? What would be the best platform for that, and how we can go around that, right? So I would be grateful to you if you can help out in these on these questions actually. Now you can come. So I'm done. Now you can come your suggestions, right? Bharti is saying, I would be more than happy to put together a list of popular courses here in US. Definitely begin with the small free courses, followed by in-depth advanced course, promote on social media. Which particular social media would be good for us, Bharti? Please suggest that. And I can do one thing. If you want to speak up, I can unmute all of you, and maybe one by one you can all the participants are unmuted now. If you want to speak, you can speak, or maybe if you want to write, you can write as well. What is good way for you? We are okay with that. Minu is saying Python, Java, and UI design are having a great demand in USA now. You can give 2 to 3 classes free and then get it paid. Okay, Minu, I think it's a good suggestion. And generally, Minu, let us know what should be the price range, right? Bharti is saying like Git and GitHub, CI/CD. I think she's talking about continuous integration and continuous deployment, AWS. She's saying Facebook and LinkedIn would be the best platform, cloud computing, Selenium. Dr. Muthu is saying it can go from 200 USD to 400 USD. And what should be the duration, Dr. Muthu, in that case? Should it be 1 week, or like, if you can specify in hours, that would be much better. Kalyan, please, Kalyan, Ankur. Ankur, I think you are, a freshman in Canadian University, I think, right? But still, you might have got some input, so please do share if you have. Okay, Dr. Muthu is saying usually 1 month course. Okay, fine. And is it a weekend course, Dr. Muthu, or is a week, weekdays? Minu is saying her Facebook platform is good. Basically, classes are 1 to 2 months. Okay, okay, okay. Bharti saying 6 weeks course, once a week for 3 to 4 hours. Okay, thank you, Bharti. Okay, Minu saying they take full weekdays. Okay, and I think weekends are off, Minu. And what is the like time for a weekday? 1 or 2 hours?
It can be either 1 hour or 2 hour.
Okay, okay, okay. Thank you.
And one more thing is like so right now it's like a basic Python, right?
Yeah, it's a
So if
basic for
you
beginners.
do like a kind of if you do follow the same thing and make like a couple of 2 or 3 live projects, so that the people can really kind of get into a job after they finish the course, they like it.
So I think,
Usually,
Dr. Muthu, I think it's a good suggestion. So I think you were saying that along with the course, if you can help them out in building some couple of projects so that they can list them in their resume or a CV, right? So that
yeah,
can help them in switching a job, or maybe moving to a new a field, or maybe
yeah,
entering into that. Okay.
yeah. And like one more thing is like now right now we are practicing many things. Like you are giving examples. What people give is also like a kind of interview questions. So you list down all the possible interview questions. Say if it is 60 questions or if it is 100 questions, you give it in like a PDF format at the end of the class, so people know what to expect in the terms of interview, right?
Oh, yeah,
And
yeah.
I mean, they did that for like many data science courses before, and I have attended lots of interview based on that. And these people, they circulate among this number of questions. If it is 50 or 60, doesn't matter. All the questions get circulated within that, so they feel comfortable in taking up the interview. And
Yes,
if it
yes,
is a
yes.
live project, they can also take the job very easily. If it is job oriented, it's very easy to get people attraction.
Yeah, I think it's a very good input, Dr. Muthu. And thanks for that, really. Yeah, Bharti. Bharti saying make people job ready after end of the course. I think it's good. Oh, Kalyan has things to say. Kalyan is saying for working people, it works if there is a 2 to 3 hour session over the weekends and give homework. And that way they will have time to work what they have learned. Everyday class is tough to practice for people who work. Yeah, I can understand, Kalyan, right? Because from 7 to 5 or 7 to 4 you are in job, and and generally today's jobs are 24/7 actually. So you need to manage time for that. A 6 weeks program with a project in hand. Okay, cool. Thank you, Kalyan, for that. And Bharti saying make homework mandatory. Okay, okay, that's good. Minu saying they have well-defined course details, job interview, assignments. They train you as you have a good experience in and work. Okay. Okay, I think they are like just cultivating a experience in you, preparing you for something to get in the end, right? It should have some a finite outcome. Okay, okay. Cool. Anything, Ankur, from your side? Lalit, from your side?
I'm wondering, I mean, are we talking about all kind of programming languages, or we are just focusing on the data analytics side where we are talking about like Python or maybe it's some of the BI tools like Tableau and because when it comes to the, I mean, in my world where I work mainly on the data related things, so just to give you the picture, the three things are very important. I mean, the three important levers that we are considering right now is one is the data preparation piece, where right now the tool which is very famous, which is Alteryx, and
Okay.
then on the visualization side, it can be anything. It would be the Tableau or ClickView, whatever it is. Now the third piece, which is also coming into the picture, which is the RPA. So
Okay.
it's
Okay.
making a complete circle, or it's basically joining all the dots in the data analytics world, where you are able to analyze the data, you are able to automate it, you are making it humanless. So all three things are making very important in today's world.
Okay. Okay. So when you say about like visualization tools, you said that like ClickView or Tableau is there. How about like BI? Is it getting traction there in US market?
Power
Power
BI.
BI? Yeah, Power BI.
Uh, I mean, I see a lot of noise around Tableau, but I'm not sure. I mean, how about other BI tools?
Okay. 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 So I think that keeps on changing from enterprise to enterprise as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. And then when you say RPA, Lalit, like it's talking about like maybe one example could be like how you build a chatbot.
Chatbox is it's one of the example, but there
Okay.
are many things which are not possible through some of the programming languages where the UI path and all those things will come into the picture.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, Minu is saying as a Scrum people should know Power BI. Yeah. MK is also coming with suggestions, Pega and Appion. Okay. Blue Prism or RPA. Yeah, good. Dr. Muthu. Yeah, Lalit, I think good input from your side. As of now, Lalit, so you started with the question, right? So as of now, we are more focused on the uh, data science, or and so we have courses on Python, we have courses on analytics, we have courses on ML, on deep learning, kind of those. And we just recently floated a course in India for Java people as well. But I think we have to somehow change couple of things if you want to hit the a US territory, because something that works in India may not work in there, right? And as of now in India, we are more focused on the undergraduate student population. But I think in USA, what do you suggest? Should we focus on more on the working professionals there?
In today's world, yeah, definitely we can.
Yeah, Dr. Moti, thank you for that. Okay. Okay. Bharti saying both working and fresh out of the college graduates. Yeah. Ankur, you have something to say? So, and Lalit and Muthu, can you also give me an idea that what are the best platform for a kind of a promotion, let's say with respect to working professionals and with respect to undergraduate or passing out candidates who are new to the industry and they are looking for a job or looking for a kind of a job assistance. What do you think? What should be the right social media platform, or is that the only way? Like, is the social media only way to reach out to the people, or something else is also there that works in US?
And I just want to understand your current strategy, because what I noticed, and I was really surprised, that only like between 10 to 15 people are enrolling for this course. I mean, it failed somewhere, that I believe so, or probably the marketing was not the right.
I think we did only just 1 week or like kind of a marketing, and that too on the Instagram, I think. And we just, that's it. We didn't do anything else on that
Now
front.
onwards, probably we guys can help you, but yeah, but I was wondering, I mean, why only 10 to people only enrolled for it?
So what should be the good number if that is the way to just the success?
I'm not sure if you are running another sessions as well for the
No,
North
as of
America.
now that is the only one session we
Okay.
do for US market. What should be the good number, Lalit, in that case?
I mean, the population is very huge and everyone is interested in data analytics, right?
So I think so, Lalit. We tried the first time with only Instagram. So as you see, as you mentioned, right? I think so. Our strategy was wrong using Instagram as a social tool. But I think so. What input you people have given that okay, we'll try to do some promotion on Facebook, LinkedIn, and maybe some YouTube also. And because this was the first time we was trying to enter the US market, we only did a promotion for a week's time, and we know it was very less time. Okay, so we were expecting people from 10 to 15 only in this group, not more than that. So we wanted to understand you people better, so that was the reason we kept it small also.
It's kind of a pilot, Lalit,
Okay.
so just you test the waters, that's it. So
But definitely a lot of opportunities over
Yeah,
there.
because in our Indian classes, Lalit, we have more than 700 people in one batch, and we have a team of TAs who handles it very beautifully. There's no complaints from anybody when they have such programs in India here.
okay, I think
And one more point I want to add on the pricing piece. Probably we can compare or have some kind of analysis how the prices are working in some other online mediums like Coursera or Udemy or what other online mediums are available. I understand these are the only videos, but I mean there are instructors as well. But here is the live environment, so probably we can judge. I mean the what should be our price range.
Okay, so Kalyan is saying, I think 10 to 15 is a very good class for US from my little experience. Take a particular city, type in what training courses are offered, see who the players are, what they are advertising, and you advertise in same place and compete on price. Thank you, Kalyan, for that. And Kalyan is saying, I can tell you that your class is very good. Thank you, Kalyan, for that. Any suggestion, Lalit, on format of the class, or like anything in your mind?
I loved it. I mean, the pace was really good. I mean, we were not running too fast. We were not slow as well. So it was going good.
Okay. Okay, fine. Thank you. So, okay, thank you, Kalyan. Thank you, Bharti. Thank you, Meenu, for that. I think they are good inputs. Thank you, Dr. Muthu. Thank you, everyone, for extending your help and letting us know your inputs on that. I think we can close now. It got extended by a couple of minutes by 9:30 usually. But thank you all, and we are meeting tomorrow again. See you.
Okay. Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye,
Yeah,
everybody.
bye.